So yeah, today I would like to talk about active learning in English and trying to go from feelings of anxiety to feelings of excitement. And I'll be teaching English at Eike University of Hiroshima, and I'm very much looking forward to it, as you said. To start, I should make some confessions. To be honest, I am feeling anxiety now. I am feeling nervous because this is a new format, YouTube Live. I can't see my audience. I'm not sure who exactly is watching and what understanding everyone is having. And also, to be honest, I want you to think, oh, he's very intelligent and he's very charming. And I want to think this about myself also. So I worry if I make a mistake, I will lose this image for you and for me as well. And I think that maybe many of you who are about to join Eike University and take so many classes in English, maybe you are feeling a very similar anxiety right now. So you don't know the new format. You want to keep your image as intelligent and make friends and project that image. And many of my students in the past have said, yes, I feel this anxiety when I take English courses. So what I'm hoping to do is give you some ideas to go from anxiety, feeling so nervous that we can't even think clearly or speak clearly, to maybe a little bit more tension, so feeling some energy and some responsiveness, and maybe even excitement, so feeling like, the challenge is fun, that this is a great chance to grow and try something new. I want to emphasize, we don't want total relaxation, because that's sleeping and that's meditation. We want some energy, some tension, some anxiety is good, actually. So today, first I will talk about a few common anxieties called imposter phenomenon and foreign language anxiety. And then I want to talk about some ideas, some ways or strategies to change those anxieties into a little bit more excitement about those. And I will talk about each one of these a little later on. So first, about myself, you heard a very kind introduction at the beginning, but I will give you a little bit more about me. I was a good student from the American Midwest. I got some honor when I was my final year of high school, and I've done lots and lots of studies, got degrees, and I've got decades of teaching experience now. So I should be an expert. Yasui Sensei called me an expert, but I worry sometimes. Maybe it's fake. Maybe I doubt if I am really so great or really have such knowledge. And I feel like an imposter, like this is my disguise, almost. And this is a very common phenomenon. They call it imposter phenomenon, feeling like we are tricking other people into thinking we are good, we are experts, we are smart, intelligent. And many people have experienced this. And there's a great YouTube video you can check after today's talks called What is Imposter Syndrome on TED Ed, and gives a great explanation of what it is and how we can overcome it. But I won't show it today. It's a little too long. The second type of anxiety I want to introduce is called foreign language anxiety. And this is very common in teaching languages scholarship or literature. Many studies about how common this is. And again, it's very similar to imposter phenomenon because we feel frustration and fear that others are judging us and we are judging ourselves. because we feel so intelligent and so fluent in our first language. And then when we go to the second language, it's like we are suddenly a child again, or we are suddenly can't say everything we want to say. We might say just, this is a pen. But actually, we have so many more ideas, brilliant ideas in our mind, but we can't say. It's very frustrating. And this is a problem because if we feel too afraid, too much fear, we avoid taking risks and we just switch back to our first language, or we say something very easy and don't try to say our real ideas. So that means there's less growth in this situation. So it's very common, but it can be a problem for language learning. So the next part is about how to transform, how to avoid those damaging types of anxiety and make them more helpful to us, more like excitement. And there's a saying in English called, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So anxiety is not bad by itself. It's very common. It gives us energy. But it's too strong by itself. We need to transform it. We need to change it into something sweeter and something nicer to take. And we have setouchi lemons here. Of course, they are good, but it's too much to eat a lemon just by itself. We want to transform it into something a bit better and sweeter. So the first way that we can transform the anxieties is just by understanding them and naming them. So knowing, yes, imposter phenomenon is very common, and foreign language anxiety, basically everyone feels this sometimes. Just by knowing that, we can make it less scary, and we can deal with this anxiety together. So we can use teamwork in that case. And there are 4 more strategies that I will go through very quickly today. We can work on these together at AK University of Hiroshima more slowly and with more time to spend. But I just want to introduce very quickly some ideas about L2 selves. So when we speak a second language, we can become a different version of ourselves. We can change our identity a little bit just for the time that we're speaking. We can use our creativity, we can use some playfulness, and we can depend on community and support each other in the community. And these 4 ways I will introduce in a little bit more detail soon. And before I do that, I want to just emphasize one more time, this is very, very important, that anxieties are so common. Like almost everyone feels some types of anxiety. They talk about in that TED Ed video, Albert Einstein, great scientist. He felt like, I'm an imposter. Actually, I'm not so intelligent. And some of the best writers have felt that too. So the people that seem so great to you, they have felt the same thing. So we can learn from their experience. The second point, I talked about how we have these L2 selves, or second language selves. And this gets us to very deep philosophical questions of philosophy, of who is the real you? And do we have just one identity? That's the deep identity, and that's the only way that we can be. Or are there some chances to try out new identities? Even just for a short time, we can go back to the old identity, or maybe we can move more to that new identity. And in language teaching and language learning, they talk about how this is one of the best chances to adopt a new identity, try out a new self. I can use myself as an example for this. So my L1 self in English, I think I'm a teacher, I'm a scholar, I should be an expert, I should be very serious and use very big words and sound very intelligent. But my L2 selves are quite different in my experience. So when I studied Spanish, I felt like, I can think more quickly, and I felt clever, and I liked to speak a lot in the Spanish class. In my English classes, I was very serious and quiet, but when I went to Spanish class, suddenly I wanted to speak a lot. Then when I studied Chinese, I tried a different self, a different identity. I became a little bit more curious. I focused on being polite. I tried to be a very sympathetic listener, more of a listener than this very talkative Spanish-speaking person. And then finally, with Japanese, my Japanese self, I feel like I'm a little bit more silly. I am often the bokeh in conversations in Japanese. I'm kind of eccentric or strange, but at the same time, sometimes cautious. And I think all of these are now part of my L1 self. So they have changed who I am, and maybe we can use Walt Whitman's idea of I contain multitudes. I have many selves inside. And this relates to the next strategy, which is about creativity. And there are some theories about language that anytime we use language, we are actually repeating what other people have said and borrowing those phrases, those stories, and putting them together in a new way. And when we go to a new language, a second language, we can't do that as easily. We don't have access to those phrases, those words, those stories. So that means we have to make it fresh. We have to come from different ingredients, different fabric, we might say, and design it in new ways. So we can use this as a chance to make what seems very common sense and familiar, and it suddenly becomes new and fresh and strange. So we can have many more chances for creativity. And I think one thing that helps with this creativity is by using the attitude of playfulness. And this relates to some positive psychology where we have the flow state, where you feel like time flies. So you get into this very excited state and you're interacting, and suddenly the class is over and you feel like, I thought we just started, because it is such an exciting and flow state time. And this is also a chance to try out ideas. So maybe it's not totally serious, halfway serious, but we say something just to try it out. And we can maybe give up on that, or we can continue after we experiment. And this gives us a way to repeat some of the same phrases, but in fresh ways. So it becomes more engaging that way. And one of my heroes, an education philosopher, John Dewey, describes this state of being both playful and serious at the same time as like the ideal, the most intelligent way of being. So I hope that we can build that state together. And the next part, I will ask quickly for your interaction. This is an activity that I've gotten from some other researchers' ideas about peer idealizing. This means imagine your perfect classmates, and you can choose the most important thing that good classmates do. And I've listed 5 very good things, very important things. 1 is cheer on others. 2, help others laugh and have fun. Teach and challenge others. 4, show respect and care for everyone. And 5 is, even outside of class, actively communicate with those classmates, with you as a classmate. So I know it's very difficult to choose. This is an almost impossible question to choose only one, but I'd like you to add a comment in the YouTube live comment area just with the number. So if you think cheer on numbers, cheer on others is the most important, please put 1 in the comments. We can check those later, what your ideas were. And one of the most common, I'm not sure what you put yet, but one of the most common answers that my students have given in the past is that they think it's very important for others to show them respect and care, or show everyone in the class respect and care. And a very close second is helping others have fun. So this shared joy at trying something new in new languages. And I think this relates to some research that some companies have done, like Google and other big companies, about good teamwork, where they think that feeling safe, feeling some psychological safety is super important, really, really important for cooperation, collaboration, and respecting the diversity of opinions, perspectives, and trying to work together towards the same goal of raising everyone's language skills, for example, communication skills. And I think what's really important to remember for this is that we still want to have disagreement, we still want to have questioning and correcting others, but it doesn't need to feel like attacking in that case. If we have a positive community, a safe community, then we can disagree, but still show respect at the same time. And I think this relates to the idea of critical thinking. It's not necessarily negative thinking. It's just careful thinking of advantages, disadvantages, many different perspectives at the same time. So what I'd like to encourage all of you who are studying English and learning actively, coming to AK, is just to start from the assumption all of us are intelligent, all of us belong in the class, all of us can do it, and please include me in that case too. Even I am intelligent, but all of us are intelligent, and we can start from that just belief and build from there. And we can also keep in mind, remember that our goals are the same. Our goals are connected even. So if others' communication abilities increase, then that helps us increase our own skills as well, and our own general growth. So we need good input as language learners, and we need many chances for good output and new perspectives. And to do that, we need to help others join the class actively. So just to review, I think these 6 points are very helpful to remember when feeling anxiety and trying to transform it, change it into something more helpful, something more like excitement. So the first is to accept that anxiety is very common. We don't need to feel like it's shame or secret or private, and we don't need to feel like it's imposter. And that allows us then to share this anxiety with others and deal with it together and learn from others' strategies for dealing with that. We can also look at this scary class as a chance to try out new selves. So we can try out new ways of being a student, like me in Spanish class, trying a new way of being the talkative student rather than the quiet student. and new ways of being a communicator as well. Looking for chances to go beyond our common sense and habits and try out ways of being creative, looking at this as a good chance for that. Trying to keep inviting each other to play together. Let's play with these new words, these new ideas, and see where they go. And finally, trying to create this respectful, safe, caring community where we're all asking questions, trying to find answers together, and trying to improve everyone's learning. So yeah, thank you for your attention. I hope that this was clear, and I hope that I was charming and intelligent after all. Thank you.